onto the collar. Now I think the collar really lifts the drawing. I think it's a lovely vibrant red. The drawing could be a little bit drab perhaps if it wasn't for the red collar or some other vibrant colour. So I think it lifts it. It doesn't really distract too much from the dog's head. And if you're doing a pet portrait, remember, no doubt the owner of the pet has specifically picked out, you know, the nicest collar or a special collar to go on there, so you need to be able to portray that accurately. Now I've already tested my colours or my colour swatches to see which colours I've got that are most accurate. Now when you've got a vibrant colour like this, sometimes it's better to use pastel sticks, but I found in my pencils I got close enough. Now I'm using a dark purple for the shadows, for the deepest shadows, and I'll layer some of the reds on top of that. Okay, and that'll give me kind of like a dark, deep, plummy red colour, which will work well for the shadows. And then I need to keep my richest colours for the area near the black buckle and at the back of the collar as well. But first of all, I'm just making sure I don't lose my drawing again. Okay, so the fur is coming over in places, so I need to make sure that I'm putting the edges where they're supposed to be. Now I know where those edges are going to go, I can then fill the colours in more freely without worrying about losing the shape of the collar. So just blocking in the basic colour to start with, and then I can adjust it lighter, darker, more vibrant on top. I'm using the purple very lightly to give a small amount of texture, and it's also knocking the vibrancy of the colour back, putting it into shadow. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on now and do what you've seen there and block in this other section. Okay, so that's all the subdued areas in that shadow section, and just goes a bit brighter here as I start to work my way forwards on the collar, and then right at the front I can start blocking that in as well, because it goes to pretty much the richest colour, and I want it to be nice and vibrant. I want it to to really stand out. Now you'll find the most vibrant colours in the softer pastel pencils, so we're talking Gioconda, Caran d'Ache. They're the softer pencils. This is a Gioconda one. I don't have that many Caran d'Ache. The problem with the softer pencils, they're very prone to snapping when you're sharpening them, so you need to take a lot more care sharpening them. So once again, as you can see, just blocking in the basic colours and just making sure that I've got the darks in the right place and the lights, because that's now what's giving this its shape, and putting some areas into highlight and some areas into shadow. Clean finger, blending it in. All looks messy at the moment, and I'll continue to refine it. Now I'm going over some of these areas, darkening them down just a small amount, and that's giving that impression of shadow. You can see where the light is just catching the top edge, and when I lighten that right hand section up, it'll all make a lot more sense. But this is just a slight shadowing going around that bottom edge and around the corner. Now as you can see, I also need to create a bit of darkness under the collar, that shadow, and that comes out into the fur, and you can see that lifts the collar up away from the fur itself. And what I'll do now, I'll just continue and I'll tidy up this bottom edge of the fur, darkening areas so that I can make sure I'm not going to smudge or muddy the red collar when I start detailing it some more. Now this buckle is mainly black, and I've just put a bit of black in, but I don't want to lose shape. It's quite a complicated shape, how the two clasps go together. We've got the highlight on the front edge and more on that top edge. So I don't want to lose the exact shape. I don't want to just block it in black and then try and, you know, guess where these areas need to have a bit of highlight on. So I'm going to build it up in stages just so I don't lose that shape, because it could quite easily go wrong. And when I've got a lot of dark pastel around, I don't want to be trying to erase or smudge or do anything with that, which could contaminate the dog. See, I'm just putting a bit of blue over that grey. Now remember as well that, you know, the star of the show is the dog. I need to obviously detail up the collar as well, but I don't need to have really extreme detail on there. I want the viewer to concentrate on the dog and the collar, the lead, you know, the collar and the clasp. That can be kind of a, you know, secondary role. So it needs to be accurate, it needs to look realistic, but I don't need to put every tiny little line in that collar and texture on the clasp, etc., to make it look believable. So I'm just going to put in the darks, then that grey, dark grey for the front part of this clasp. So as you saw, there's nothing really extremely complicated about doing things like this. It's just drawing, taking your time and putting in what you see. Don't have to worry about things like, you know, building up layers like we did with the fur texture. It's kind of almost colouring in to do things like this. And as I said as well, don't need to put in a massive amount of detail. I'm just using my Cretacolor black because I wanted a really nice dark strip there, and the black pencil wasn't dark enough, so I'm not using this much at all on the drawing, as you've noticed, but it can be really handy if you do need a nice black mark in a certain area. Now for the highlight, a sharp pencil for once, and just going to indicate where the light is catching the ridges just on the collar. And you can see the effect comes out really quickly, looks realistic as well. I'm not pushing hard on that pencil. I don't need to make this stand out too much. These lines don't go into the shadow. I'll come back in with a darker version of this to go into the shadow, but that's really all I'm going to need to do. I'll just brighten a couple of these up to make it stand out a bit more. And as you can see, when you're looking at the dog and you glance to the collar, it looks realistic even though I haven't put much detail on there at all. Now I'm just going to increase the vibrancy here just to give a bit more of that textured effect. Now this is a nice little area, this green rubbery badge on the side. Once again, not much detail at all required to make it look realistic. Just some green around the edge. I'm leaving the space for that muted yellow of the writing and the edging around the green, just to keep it a bit cleaner. Not even using a sharp pencil for the green. This is just a suggestion, and the eye of the viewer, that's going to fill in all the details and make it look realistic. So this little pencil is almost run out, and it's Gioconda, and they don't sell those as individuals, so I'm not going to be using one of these again unless I end up buying a whole set of Gioconda again. So that's a real shame, because I don't have a pencil that colour in any of the other brands. And as you can see, as simple as that, there's nothing complicated about putting that green rubbery motif there, that badge, and then I can just bring the fur around the edge, and then that all looks quite realistic. There, simple as that. Just about 2 minutes work. If you're struggling to draw animals or to improve your art, I can share with you the techniques I've learned over 25 years so you can avoid frustration and trial and error and start to enjoy drawing and creating straight away. Hi, my name is Jason Morgan. I'm a professional artist, and I would love to be your guide on your unique art journey. I've fallen in love with pastels, and I'm sure you will too. There's really no other medium that has the vibrancy and colour intensity and the ability to put light over dark. That's an absolute game changer for the animal artist. Now on my channel you get immediate access to hundreds of hours of lessons and demonstrations, and you go completely at your own pace. There is absolutely no rushing in my art channel and lessons. Think of it like a video library. You pick the video you like, something that really takes your fancy, and you take as long as you want to complete it. Or alternatively, you can watch my videos, learn the techniques, and apply them to the subjects that really inspire you. And you also get new reference photos each month. They're copyright free. You can use them in your art, sell your art, no worries whatsoever. Many of my artists came to me with little to no art ability whatsoever, and they're truly amazed with what they're now creating. You could be doing that as well. Now, don't think age is a problem. You're really never too old to start learning and enjoying art, and many of my students are 40, 50, 60, 70, even 80 years of age. Now, my channel is about much more than lessons and techniques. You also get access to my secret private Facebook group, and that's full of members that's literally grown up with my channel. They're super supportive and kind. They come from all over the world. So if you've got any questions, you can rest assured there's going to be someone there really quick with a solution to your problems. Now, with my channel, you're not tied into any contract. You can literally come and go as you please. You can go up tiers, you can go down tiers, whatever you want. And there's a tier and a price to suit literally any pocket. Now, I've been doing art lessons for many years, and I really pride myself on trying to create the absolute best lessons and demonstrations I possibly can. I really hope to see you there soon so you can start your art journey, and I can't wait to see what you can achieve.